It's okay to want. You shouldn't be reluctant to want, and don't reject the want. If you want it, understand where it's coming. It's coming from the essence of who you are. It's coming from your heart, the heart of hearts. It's coming from the spiritual core of your being. See, Spirit wants to express itself in a greater way, and you're the instrument. Spirit works through you. Spirit doesn't do anything on its own. You got to do it. That's where the wants come from. I want. Understand that's coming from inside. It's not you want to get. It's you want to grow. As you're going after whatever it is you want, it's for growth. It's not to obtain. Everything you own at the time of your death is going to belong to somebody else. You never own anything anyway. You're merely a custodian. You can have it, you can use it, you can share it, but you can't own it. It's a joke. People think they own it. I own this land. You can't own it. Look, that's why the Indians that were here before we arrived, they laughed at us when we started to say we own the land. We don't own the land. The land owns us. You see, all we're doing is stripping away a lot of the nonsense and looking at the basic truth about life. Wants. It's good to want. What we want to start doing is dreaming out loud. When the Wright brothers started to talk about a plane in the air, everyone thought they were crazy. We should be at the point today where nothing's crazy. If you can think it, you can do it. There is a place. When you use your imagination, you're just going on to a higher frequency. This got nothing to do with your age. It's got nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with race, nationality, none of that stuff. We're all the same. We just look and sound different, but we're all the same. The wants just come to the surface. You have to ask, where did they come from? Such an interesting concept. They come from inside. And it's only through constant spaced repetition, a deep level of understanding, that you will plant that in your heart. It's wild the way it happens. It comes from Spirit, you give it back to Spirit, and through the reciprocal law of Spirit, it gives it back to you in physical form. That's the way it works. There's nothing complicated. Don't confuse it. Don't get involved in a whole lot of complicated stuff.
Hi, I've just realized that I did not unmute myself, so probably now you can hear me. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to day 6. I cannot imagine it is on it is day 6 of our challenge. Day 6, like wow. And today and tomorrow are one of my favorites because I think everything comes together on these 2 days, and that's why they are one of my favorites. And also, I see that this is the main, like a stepping up game that everyone needs to do. And that's why I keep that not towards the end. I think it makes more sense when you have had the understanding of everything. So brilliant, brilliant. You can hear me now. I think so. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Perfect. You can hear me now, right? Cool. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about one thing that has really stood out during the whole thing. One is ignorance. Do you know there's only one problem in the world? which is ignorance. And there's only one solution to it, which is awareness. And many people feel stuck in life. Many people feel that, oh, this is not possible for me. And all of those thoughts that are come to our mind, it's because we are ignorant to what is available to us. And today, I really want to explain to you what all is available to you, how we all have the same potential, how we all have the same power to create the life that we want. No one is better than anyone. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me. No one is, we all the same, and we all have been gifted the same talent, same abilities by God, by the Creator. So why is it that only very few people are actually utilizing them and very few are not? And the reason lies in, it's the ignorance. They're not aware of it. And today I want to explain a little bit more about the stick person, because I think it just makes everything so clear. So I'm going to bring it out because I love the stick person. And isn't this such a brilliant concept, right? I'm not going to draw today because I just could not connect my iPad today. So I'm just going to put this out and really talk about this, that where is the power in you? The power is within you, right? This is you. This is not a drawing. This is not anything. This is literally you, guys. This is me. This is you. This is how a creator has made us. And how the creator's made us is there's a success mechanism within ourselves, right? Remember, I told you, Dr. Maxwell Maltz write this in Psycho-Cybernetics, that the success mechanism in us, we have jammed us unconsciously. We do not know how to use it. And today I'm going to show you exactly, and I've been doing that anyway, but today I'm going to bring all of the pieces of the puzzles together, how I help my clients, the work that I do every single day that just makes me go quantum leaping one after the other. It's not, because if you're not growing in life, I always say there's a law of, integration and disintegration. You're either growing or you're going backwards. You're not stopping there. There is nothing such thing. Why? Because people are going. The awareness is rising. The consciousness is rising. So what stops you is your awareness. So the only thing you have to do is really keep going. And it happens when you keep doing this work, right? It's not just the knowledge of this work. It's really the application of this work. And today I'm going to show you how you're going to do all of that by yourself, right? So understand this, that this is you. This is not something that this is you, and this gives you the power to create the life that you want. So I'm just going to go through a little bit with you again. Remember your thinking mind? That's your conscious mind. This is your feeling mind, your emotional mind, and then this is your body. A lot of conversations that I have is around doubt and worry. Even when people come and work with me, I see there's a lot of doubt and worry in them. And I get it because I used to be in the same place, right? And to be honest with you, anytime you grow in life, that will carry on. You just need to learn how to respond to it. Right now, it is master of you. It is holding your power. Right now, the doubt, the worry in life is holding everything on you. It's like it's taking control over you, right? But when you understand how to then work with it, how to actually work with this and create the life that you want, you do not have to give in to the doubt and worry. You can actually have the power. And that's what I want to explain first to you. So understand one thing, you're either going forward or you're going backward. There is no midway, right? So that's the law of integration and disintegration. And if you're not growing, I told you the other day, you're literally dying. Maybe you're not dying physically, but ask yourself, are you dying emotionally? Are you dying from within, giving up? It's like, every day is a struggle. Isn't that like dying every single day instead of one physical death? That's what it feels like, because I felt that. I know what it feels like. And that's why I do this, because I know what we can create, the power we all have within ourselves. So just understand this thing. And why? Because right now you do not know how this really operates. You're ignorant to it. And that's why you can't create what you really want in life. So understand, when, the conscious mind, this is where all of your doubt and worry lives. All of the doubt and worry, where is it coming from? It's coming from the thoughts that you're internalizing. The thoughts that you think all day, you're internalizing those thoughts, you get emotionally involved with those thoughts. And those thoughts, then what happens to those thoughts? Those thoughts then are being impressed upon your subconscious. When you internalize those, you are now generating fear in your life, because fear is an emotion. It goes in the emotional mind. Now, what happens is, when the fear lives in the subconscious and you're really, again, you are living in that fear every single day, where do you think that's going to go? It's not going to go outwards. It's going in your body, right? Because that's how it is. So understand, anything that happens, and that's one more thing that I want to explain to you is, And probably I'll get back to it in a second. So understand, this is where the doubt and worry lives. This is where your fear is, because this is creating the fear in you. The fear, when it keeps us, because you can't emit fear, you are emitting fear, but you can't express it. So what is expressing is it's being suppressed in your body, and then through the body it's coming in form of anxiety in your life. So every day when you have anxiety, whether it's about money, whether it's about your health, whether it's about your relationships, all of that is happening because this is being suppressed on this, right? And then what happens if you keep suppressing the anxiety? The suppression turns into depression. Depression is actually what? It's anger turned inwards, because you're so frustrated, you're so angry with yourself, with the situation. All of that gets turned inward. Now the depression turns into dis-ease, and what it really means is that you're dis-ease with yourself. But I want you to take a step further than this. You understand this concept I explained to you, but where does this doubt and worry start coming from? Understand that we as human beings are connected to the universal source, right? We are connected to this universe. How are we connected to this universe? I told you these 5 senses connect us to our environment, right? The way we see things, hear, all of that is connected to the environment. So if I touch something hot, I exactly know I need to put my hand away. Why? Because I'm connected to it. I can feel it. I can touch it, right? So anything I hear, a loud noise, is I can protect myself because I'm connected through these 5 senses to my environment. But how am I connected to the infinite source? How? The infinite source is flowing to and through you all the time. It doesn't stop. The energy doesn't stop. It's always flowing to and through you. If you see, what are we beyond body? What is this beyond this glass? This beyond this apple pencil, this plastic? What is it? Everything is energy, right? So we are connected to that energy of the universe through what? Through our thoughts. And that's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. The energy is flowing to and through us all the time, whether you're sleeping, whether you're awake, no matter what you're doing, this is flowing 24/7 continuously. When this is flowing continuously, now when it enters our consciousness, right? When it enters our consciousness, we have the power to either put it into a positive state or a negative state. Now, when we are thinking from a past, right? When we're thinking from our past experiences, when we're thinking from a programming, conditioning, remember what I said the other day? Only out of 100%, there's only 1% people in the world who really know how to think. 97% would rather die than think. 2% think they think, but actually they're not thinking. It's only 1% who's really thinking. So imagine all of that 99%, what is happening? It's coming through them, the energy is coming to and through them, but they are not shaping into what they want. Unconsciously, they're shaping into what they do not want. And that is where what is happening is that you are now emotionally involved with a negative idea. And you are, by law of perpetual transmutation of energy, emitting that out. Why? Because you're shaping into negative. The negative, then you get emotionally involved with it. So think about this. I'm going to give you an example. When this energy, which is pure, which is unadulterated, which has got everything to give it to you, like it's just pure, it's abundant, it's unadulterated. There is no programming attached to that. Why? Because it's coming from the source. When that energy is coming to and through you, from the source, from the universe, and then you shape it into negative or positive, you either 2 ways. You can't, there is no other way. Because law of polarity is at work. Law of duality is at work. So it's either positive or negative. So when you are getting emotionally involved with positive ideas, great, because you are impressing that on the subconscious. And energy will always, and that, remember what I told you, this is also linked to your universal subconscious. So when that is coming through the body and you're using that positive energy to create the results, you will only get the results on that frequency, because energy will give you like energy back. It cannot give you any other energy back, right? So understand what's happening here. So, but on the other hand, when you get emotionally involved with a negative idea, when you're getting emotionally involved with all of that negative idea, you're internalizing that negative idea, and that is going out through the body, what energy will come back? The only energy that will come back is likewise. negative. So which one? By law of perpetual transmutation of energy, what are you shaping that pure energy into? You're shaping that into what? You're shaping that into the negative. So what you need to do is you need to start using the mental faculties. And I will go through the mental faculties again a little bit today, because that's where the self-image will really start changing. When you start applying those mental faculties, you are going to then start creating a better life for yourself. So before I go any further, understand everything is energy. Everything. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. You need to understand that. You can never create energy. You cannot destroy energy. Energy only changes its form. So think of it like water. When you put water in a freezer, what happens? Energy again cannot be created or destroyed. The amount of water that you put in the freezer is going to become what? Ice cubes. So energy is changing shape. If you take out those ice cubes and you put them on a stove on heat, what's going to happen? It's going to evaporate. It's going to become vapor form, right? So it's still energy, but it's changing form. Likewise, the thoughts that you're thinking, when the energy is coming and you're shaping into one or the other, what are you doing? You are just sending it out and it will come back to you in the same form. Because that's exactly what's happening. You can't create or destroy. So whatever thoughts you think, you can't destroy those thoughts. But you are sending those thoughts out and those thoughts will come back to you in the same form. So what do you need to start doing? You need to start changing your programming so you can start changing the thoughts that you think from. Right now, what are the dominant thoughts that you think? Ask yourself, the dominant thoughts that you think in a day, are they about what you want? Are they about what you do not want? Are they about prosperity and abundance? Are they of lack and limitation? Are they more faith-led? Are they more fear-led thoughts? Let me know in the chat which one of this resonates, because whatever is dominant, that's exactly what you are creating in your life. Exactly. So what do you need to do then? You need to then start creating thoughts which are more on the frequency of your goal, because then only you can start changing everything. So understand what is happening. All of this awareness was always available to you, but you were not aware of it. So when I'm saying all of the energy, all of the knowledge, everything that you want is already present. You're not going to go out of ether to get it. So for example, when the planes were created, when technology, anything that is created, you do not go out in ether to get it. It already exists. All of the components. So for example, I've got an Apple Pencil in front of me. Whatever was required to make this Apple Pencil always existed, but someone was not aware of it. So right now, where you are in your life is because you're not aware of the next level, of the level that you want. So what do you need to do? You need to start understanding you. You need to understanding these laws of the universe. You need to start understanding how this all works. Why? Because you're not aware of it. That's the only solution. So then what do? You need to start becoming aware of it, right? So first thing, start hanging around with people who will make you aware of these things in life. The other thing I want to talk about is, when I was talking about there's only one problem in the world, right? The reason you're stuck in life, the reason where you are, doesn't matter which area of your life, is ignorance. So the only solution is knowledge, right? So what do? You start developing that knowledge. When you start understanding how do you operate, why am I believing what I'm believing to be true about myself? Why am I believing about lack? Why am I believing this to be true? Again, that's a mental faculty of reasoning. You start reasoning everything. Why am I believing this to be true? And when you understand that this is not right, you start reasoning it, you start changing it, you start changing your DNA, the way you think in life. Everything starts with a thought. Think about it. Everything. Look at where you are in your room right now. The lamp at the back, everything, this Apple Pencil, everything started in someone's thought, because that's where the creation starts. So what are you, that's what I'm talking about. What are you thinking all day long? That's exactly what you're creating. So become aware of what you're thinking and then start changing the thoughts, because you have to be on the frequency of the thoughts, that frequency of your goal. So right now, if your goal is to earn 10,000 pounds a month, if your goal is good health, if your goal is to be in a loving relationship, whatever your goal is in life, wherever you want to be, maybe it's more security, maybe it's financial freedom, And like I said, it's different for everyone. So whatever that goal is for you, for a student, it might be to get good grades. Whatever that goal is, you need to start thinking from that place. You need to start making decisions from that place. And yes, I will show you all of that tomorrow. Yes, in self-image. How do you do that? But it is so important that you need to start placing yourself in the right vibrational thought. You need to start placing yourself in the right vibration. Why? Understand what's happening. Remember again the law of perpetual transmutation of energy that I'm explaining. What happens when you are emotionally involved with a negative idea? When you are so involved with a negative idea, you are internalizing that negative idea all day long. What is happening is you are giving it energy all the time. When you're giving it energy all the time, you are just creating the same again and again in your life. Someone asked me this question: how do I break through this loop? The way to break through this loop is to change your programming. That's the way. If you are thinking of limitations, lack and limitation all day long, or majority of the time, that's exactly what you are creating. So then the opposite of worry is what? When you're doubting and worry, what's the opposite of that? Understanding how it is all created. Why am I worrying? Reason it. Why am I worrying? Oh, because this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. Or like I used to worry about money because I never understood what money was. I used to worry about my health. Why? Because I never understood what good health was. So when I started understanding, oh, this is what a good health looks like, this is how I need to be in this good health, this is how I need to start thinking about money, this is how I need to start thinking about myself with regards to money, everything started changing. The other thing is the power of faith. And when I'm saying faith, it's not religious faith, because that's the antidote of fear. I know I've explained this to you, but I can't express enough, because from that faith comes self-belief. It's faith in yourself, believing in yourself, believing in what you do. Because when people say, I believe, of course I believe in myself. Really? Ask yourself, really? Does your behavior show that you believe in yourself? Many people say, I believe in what I do. I want you to ask yourself, really, does your behavior show that? Is your behavior showing? Will you show up even when you're not ready? If you really believed in yourself, if you really believed in the power within you, if you really believed in what you do, will you show up, or will you just stay like that? And that's what real faith is. That's what the power of faith is. When you really understand who I am and how do I utilize this, that's when you are really tapping into faith every single time. So really understand that, sorry, when you understand things, it leads to the emotional vibration of faith. And when you are in that emotional vibration of faith, that's what you will create in your life. And that is what I do every single day. That's what I do with my clients every single day. I'm going to explain this to you a little bit more. Who wants to know actually about what I do every day? What I work with my clients? Who is ready to do that? Because I want to explain it to you. How do you really put all of this together? How do I really work with my clients every single day so they can just move forward in life? I'm just moving forward. Who here is interested in that? Let me know in the chat so you can understand how it works. So as I said, the program I do is Thinking into Results. It's not something that I have made. It's a very powerful program created by Bob Proctor, and I just facilitate. I'm one of the top facilitators in the world, and I work with him. Although he's not there in physical form, but I still work with him because he's always present, right? So I just want to explain a little bit about how this works and how do you really create your life, and how does it, just to explain to you how it really works. So think about it. First step is always having goal. Always, because if you don't have a goal, you do not know where you're going. And then once you have the goal, and that's the most important thing. So lesson 1 of Thinking into Results program is all about goals. How to set the right goal in life. How to set the goal that's going to inspire you. Then when you wake up in the morning, you're so excited. Yes, I know where I'm going in my life. Not waking up tired. Not like, oh, it's another day of my life. Who feels that right now? That, oh my gosh, another day, another Monday, another days. And then you wake up in the same, you think there is no energy in you, you lack energy, you're not looking forward to the day. You are just in that. So when you set that right goal, it inspires you to move. It moves you into action. You're excited to wake up in the day. You're like, yes, I know something that I'm going after. That's how the right goal is. Yes, it will scare you, and it should scare you, because then only you know it's the right goal. It excites you in life as well. So if you're not feeling excited, you're stuck in the same place. You know why? Because you do not have a goal that's worthy of you. That's another thing. We said we have been programmed to set goals which are, make sure you set realistic goals. Make sure you set goals that you can achieve. But think about it. If you truly understood who you are, you will go after a goal which is worth your time on this planet Earth. That is worthy of you, not that you are worthy of your goal. That goal should be worthy of your time and energy and your effort. That's what a goal should be. So lesson 1 starts with the most important thing, goal. Then I want you to think about lesson 2 onwards. It's like, how we have this built, like we live in a house, and if maybe you have got 2 floors, it's not a bungalow, and usually those are the houses we live in, right? We've got 2 floors. So think about it. If you wanted electricity on the second floor, right? First floor, second floor, however you want to put it. I do not know how many floors you have, right? And you will have to have electric wires on that floor as well, right? You can't just have electric wires on the first floor and not have them on the second, because you won't be able to use it. Make sense? So then comes the second lesson, and we're looking at, okay, where is the gap? So where is the gap in this electricity? Where isn't it not? Where is it there? So right now your mind is like electric station. That's what I want you to know. So you're finding which are the wires which are not plugged in properly. Where are you not in your mind plugged properly according to the goal, right? So what is it that it is not working well? So you start finding where the gaps are, like you would do in a new house, or when you're doing the electric wiring, in which rooms do you have electricity, where you do not have, and you start finding where are the faults, where is everything. So you start doing that, and that's what the knowing doing gap is in lesson 2. Like you really start looking at where is the knowing doing gap. I know it all. So if you are someone who's like, I know it all, but my results are not there. I know I should be doing this, but I'm not doing it. I know I'm so capable, but I'm not. This is where we look at why. Majority of the people, and I want you to ask yourself, maybe this is something that happened to you with you in your childhood, or maybe something that happens when you ask your children that, or some your young siblings and all. Why did you do that? And you're like, I do not know, why did I do that? Does that happen? Like, why did you do that? I do not know. And maybe someone asks you, why did you do that? Or why did you do that? I do not know. I know I should be doing that. So when you go on a diet and they're like, oh, you shouldn't be eating that chocolate cake, but you're like, oh, I did that. Why did you do that? I do not know. Why did I do that? Does that sound familiar? I do not know why I did that. That is why, because there is a big gap between knowing and doing. You know it, but you still do what you shouldn't be doing, or you do not do it at all. So where is that gap? So you start finding where the gap is in the knowing and doing, right? Why are you not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Then this electric wiring that I'm trying to tell you, of course, the electric wiring has to be right. Otherwise, you'll get a shock of life, or the light won't work, and all of those stuff. So that is your mind. So in lesson 2 and lesson 3, you start really understanding the mind. You really start understanding, how does this electric system work in me? How does it all work? Which electric connections are, maybe the fuse is off, maybe and it is all in relation to your goal, where you're going in life. The electric system has to be like that, right? So if your building was a small building, it would require a smaller electric system. If your building was a huge building, you would require a bigger electric system. Likewise, if you wanted some fancy lighting in your house, it would require that type of lighting, right? If you just had one bulb, it would have that. If you had maybe, not sure what they're called, but in all the ceiling, that's what kind of electric system it requires. So likewise, it's with your goal. So your electric system, that means your mind needs to be trained according to the goal, where you're going. Like when I gave you the example of where you're going in life is like the bag that you're going to pack. You can't pack, for a beach if you were going to a hill station. It doesn't work. Vice versa. It has to be packed according to where you're going. So your mind, so if you were going for Mount Everest, you do have to train yourself physically, mentally, maybe financially as well, because if you're going on Mount Everest, whoa, who's paying the bills behind, right? So all of those training needs to happen. Likewise, when you have this audacious goal in life, you need to train your mind for that. Where am I going? So you start training your mind. you start maybe you will uncover, like, again, I'll give you the same example of electricity. When you are doing this electric wiring, you will find some faults. And what are those faults? Those faults are your paradigms. So what do? You just do not understand, okay, this is my paradigm, but you also need to change your paradigm. Like, becoming aware of your paradigm is not going to do anything. Not. You have to change your paradigm. And that's where you really need to understand how the conscious and the subconscious works. Yes, you're becoming aware of your paradigms. Great. But you also need to learn how am I going to change these paradigms. And I did explain that on don't ask me which day, maybe day 2. I explained it. How do you change your paradigms, right? You really change them only in 2 ways, how they were planted in you. So either emotional impact, or you change them by your constant spaced repetition. Then lesson 5, not day. Lesson 5 is all about mental faculties, which I was talking about yesterday. And those are very important because that is when you're really thinking in life. Otherwise, you're just doing a mental activity that is going on in your mind all day long. You do not want to do mental activity, because if you're in mental activity, that's exactly what you're creating again. I remember Bob saying this: if you're not thinking every day in your life, that's it. And that's what it is. I train my clients, I train myself to think. And thinking is from these mental faculties: will, memory, perception, imagination, intuition. You're using these mental faculties to really create the life you want. And when you're using these mental faculties, you are in control. Why? Because that's when you're operating from the inside out, not from the outside in. Right now, majority of the people are operating from the outside in. They take information from the 5 senses, they believe it to be true, they accept it, and they live from it. Oh, I've only got this much money in my bank account. So the doubt creeps in, the fear creeps in. Or, you know what? What example can I give you? Other example from your mental faculties, how you're operating from the outside in. So maybe your friend said something to you and you believed it to be true. I'll give you one example. Very, very important example. I was invited to give a talk somewhere, and there was also this doctor there, right, who was going to give a talk. So there were 2 people who were invited, and the talk was on self-love. So the doctor was there to talk about self-love and how we can, express self-love by taking care of ourselves. Of course, really good topic. And I was talking about self-love from a point of really loving yourself unconditionally. And what does that entail? So anyway, not going to go in details of my talk or her talk, but she said something, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow. And of course, she says something to maybe make people aware, but people do not know how we lose our control in the 5 senses. So that doctor, of course, she did it from a place of well-being, so no harm, nothing at all. But I want you to be aware. So she said something like that by this year or whatever, every second person in this world would have cancer or something like that. And everyone in that moment went, oh my God, they got emotionally attached to that. Many people would have got really emotionally attached. Some people, I do not know. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow. And I'm like, I reject this idea. Why? Because remember what I said, the conscious mind has the power to accept or reject. But majority of people, what do? They accept what is the 5 senses telling them, especially when it's coming from someone with more power, with more like that. So what do? You need to take that power back. And how do you take that power back is by your mental faculties. You need to become aware of how do you use them. Which ideas are you going to entertain? Which ideas are you going to reject? Right? So it becomes very powerful when you understand how the mind works. If I'm accepting these ideas, I'm going to start living by these ideas. And that's what I did, right? When my doctor told me I have fibromyalgia, I believed it to be true. I lived with that belief for 9 years of my life, which were a real pain, real struggle. I told you I could not even climb up the stairs. I used to sit and literally, I couldn't walk. I used to climb, like that's what I was trying to tell you, right? So I couldn't walk much. I could not. And now look at me. I go for long walks. I went to Black Park today. So, but the reason I'm telling you is the power. When we believe these things to be true, like what my bank balance is saying. So maybe in your school days, your report card was with red mark. You accept that, oh my gosh, I'm not clever. I'm not smart enough. And then that report card becomes your bank statement of life. Why? Because your sales look like that. And all of that is happening. Why is that happening? Because we are not No one has ever taught us how to use our mind. No one has ever taught us that how we can really create the life that we want. No one has ever taught us that we have the power to accept or reject an idea. So that's why it is so important to understand these mental faculties, not just understand how to use them properly. That's the main thing. Then comes your self image, which I've been talking about, and I'll go tomorrow so much about self image. But everyone needs to change their self image. Why? Because you can never outperform your current self image. No one can outperform your self image. Like, again, Dr. Maxwell Maltz explained this in Psycho-Cybernetics that we can never outperform our self image. So, what do we have to do? We have to create a new self image which matches your goal again. So, when you're creating this new self image, and I'm going to go more in that tomorrow, what will happen? You need to understand how to use these mental faculties, because they're very important in creating that self image, very important in not just creating but also living in that new self image, because you can't have the old programming in the new self image. Can that happen? Can you have the old programming in the latest laptop or phones? No, you cannot. Why? Because how is it new then? It's going to be old. It's going to run on old programming, right? If I created a new laptop, for example, or a new phone, but I only put, I only coded with the old programming, maybe something in 90s or something. Do you think the output will be what it's going to be? No. So what needs to happen? You need to then change. What do you need to change? You then need to change the outdated programming. To what? To the new one that matches your goal. I know I'm just got distracted there. Someone said not able to hear, and then someone said audible. I'm guessing that you are able to hear me, because I know you guys have commented as well. So I know you are. Maybe you'll be able to hear me in a sec. But yeah, so got distracted there. But I was just trying to tell you that if you have got old input, even in a new body, it's going to give you the old coding. It's not going to give you the result of the new. So what do you need to start doing? You need to start updating yourself. And that update is according to the new goal that you're setting for yourself. And that's why you do need these mental faculties for the new self-image, because you do need to create a new self-image. If you're trying to achieve a big goal in life with the old identity, again, it's not possible, guys. It is just not possible. And I'm sorry if I'm breaking your heart here, but that is not possible. So I want to break that myth for you as well. Because if you truly, truly want to create big goals in life, to achieve those, to have a life that you really desire, that cannot come from old identity. That can only come from a new identity. Okay, and that we will go very much in tomorrow. So that's why I said that's the cherry on the cake. You have to be here tomorrow. So make sure that you are here tomorrow, because I will go so much deep into self-image tomorrow. Then when you are setting such a big goal, the fear is going to come. See, understand, fear is every day, right? So either you can run away and ask yourself, how far will you run away from fear? Or you really understand how to then use this fear and change that into faith and really understand fear for what fear is every single time and use it in your favor. And then comes the biggest thing. Then comes your belief system and your behavior. Like I said, many people say they believe they can do it, but their behavior doesn't match it. And that's why you need attitude, which is lesson 9 again, right? You do need to have the right attitude, because if you're going to go and change, like I said, you need to be 100% committed. You need to be 100% in. You cannot be 99% in. If you're 100% in, that's the right attitude of life, right? You need to be 100% in. I'm going after this. I do not know the how. I do not need to know the how. I do not need to care where it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but I know I'm going after this. Like Steve Bose says, right? He always said you will never be able to connect the dots when you're going. Once you've reached there, then yes, you can look back and be like, yes, how did I get there? So if you ask me, when I started this journey, I did not know I was going to be successful like this. Of course, that was always the goal, but I did not know which steps I needed to take. Today, I can look back and tell you exactly what I did to get here, right? So that's how it works. You can never see all the steps first. You will get there and then you can see the steps. But many people stop. Why? Why? Because the fear of the unknown comes in. The fear of failure creeps in. The fear of success creeps in. So all of that fear stops you first only. And what happens when that fear creeps in? What is happening? Understand, majority of the people, 99% people, or maybe 97, I would say, they would creep back into bondage. What I mean by that is they will go back into their comfort zone and they will settle for less. They'll be like, it's okay. Why? Because the fear is so strong. That's why it is so important to understand what fear is and how then you work with fear, because fear will always be there. Do you think people who are big Hollywood stars, they do not have fear? Or politicians or anyone, they have, but they know how to deal with fear as well. And for that, you really need the right attitude in life. And if you really see, that is what thinking into results is, because you're changing your thinking, you're changing everything how you are to get the results that you want in life. You learn about the laws of the universe. Again, you are using those laws, but you're using them to create what you do not want in life. Does that make sense? Can you see how it is a step-by-step system to get what you want in life? Can you see that? Who can be like, yes, now I can see why the goal is important, why the knowing the gap of knowing doing gap is so important to know where I am. Why do I need to know the mind? Why? Because that's how it's going to tell me how I'm going to get there. Why do I need to learn how to change my paradigms? Why? Because they will always be there. So how do you change them? You need to learn how to change them, right? Why do I need to learn about these mental faculties? Why? Because they're very powerful. This is where the power lies within us. Your mental faculties is the thing that differentiates us from the animal kingdom. Why? Because animal kingdom, again, they are trained to survive, right? But we are not meant just to survive. Majority of the people, not majority, I won't say majority, but most people do live in survival mode, right? Ask yourself, I used to be in survival mode. So you don't have to be in the survival mode. Why? Because we have these mental faculties. We have been given this by the Creator. We are, at the end, God's highest form of creation. Think about it. One day I asked myself, what does it really mean that I am God's highest form of creation? I want you to ask that question to yourself. What does that really mean? I am God's highest form of creation. What does that really mean? Think about it. All of the creation, which you go like, oh my gosh, crazy, or on the nature, on beauty, all of that, like, wow, look at these beaches. Look at this, how beautiful it is. Look at the sun. Look at this. You all go like, wow. And then God says, but human is my highest form of creation. Why? Because we are created in God's image. There is nothing flawed about you. You're flawless. I'm flawless. We are all flawless. The only thing we have to change is our programming, right? What we have accepted, what we have believed to be true. And all of that which does not serve, we can just let go of that. I know, and some might say letting go of is not easy. It's not easy because you're trying to do it by yourself. It's not easy because you do not know how to let go of it as well. But when you have this beautiful goal and when you understand who you really are, everything in life starts changing. Everything completely. And that's what I want for you all. That's what I want for everyone. And that's why I'm saying, if you would love to do this work with us, if you would love to know more about this work, how it can help you, book the call. I've been having a lot of conversations. My team has been having, some of you might have had a conversation with me. Some of you might have had a conversation with my team. So book that call with us. That call is for you to understand. And clearly, don't have to be like, maybe it's not for you. And that's fine as well. But at least you will gain clarity, whether is it for you, whether it's not for me. You would have that clarity. Maybe you'll have more clarity about your goal. Like someone I was talking to today, they were like, I really understood one thing, how important it is to have clarity in life. It's very important to have clarity, guys. Very, very important. Because if you're not clear about where you are going, if you do not have clarity about what is stopping you, again, how are you going to change that? Ask yourself, how? So if you're really interested in knowing more about this, book that call. It is for you. But at the same time, I also want you to understand, why would you waste any more time in your life? Why? Every year you tell yourself, I'm going to do it next year. Every year you get so hyped up, so pepped up with the motivation dies. So really do it for yourself. Whether you do it with us, whether you do it with anyone else, whether you do it by yourself. That doesn't matter. But I want you to make that decision. What does that committed decision mean? I think that's one thing I really want to talk about. Nothing is going to shift in your life until you make a committed decision. Rest is only knowledge. You will only be gaining more knowledge. Do you want to gain more knowledge? You've got enough knowledge anyway. So today I want you to make a promise to yourself. I really want you to make a promise that I am going to make a decision that whatever is stopping me, whatever that is, I'm going to go after what I want. I'm not going to worry about what my partner is saying. I'm not going to care about what my past tells me. I'm not going to care about what my current reality is telling me. I'm going to go after what I really, really want in my life. And I think that's a committed decision, because decision is very important, guys. If you do not make a decision in life, and I'm not talking about decision about what clothes I'm going to wear today. I'm not talking about decision just on that level. I'm talking about really life-changing decisions. You have to make that. And you do not need to know how. You do not need to know how it's going to happen, because that is one thing that will stop majority of you. Yeah, I would like it, but I do not know how to. That's the thing. You do not need to know how. When I decided that I'm going to heal myself from fibromyalgia, I did not know how I was going to. But when I made that decision that this is what I'm doing, not I want to do, not what I wish to do, not I would love to do if this happens, that happens. I am doing this. No matter what, I am doing this. That is the point when the universe will start meeting you. When you will start, that was the time when I really attracted Bob Proctor and Marissa Peer in my life. I attracted Joe Dispenza in my life. Why? Because I was like, I am doing this no matter what. I'm going to heal myself, because I was so stuck. I was done. I was literally done in pain. I was literally done living a life of anxiety every single day. But when I made that decision, I had no idea how I was going to heal myself. No idea how it was going to happen. I did not know I was going to heal myself. I thought maybe a doctor or someone else would do. And I've got high respect for doctors, by the way. My son is becoming a doctor, so I really, really respect doctors. So it's not that I do not, right? So, but it's about taking that power back with you, right? Healing is within ourselves. Not doctors will, of course, diagnose you and everything, but the healing power is within you. So do not think I'm against any doctors. I love doctors. My son's becoming a surgeon. I'm so grateful, and he's going to do such amazing work. But I want you to know that it's a decision that stops us. That committed decision. This is what I'm going after. I don't care how it's going to happen. I do not care when it's going to happen. Where is it all going to happen from? But I am making this decision. And when you go with that I am going after this no matter what, that's exactly when you will start seeing everything in your life clearly. That's when the next path will come. So when I made a decision, first I read a book from Dr. Joe Dispenza, right? When I only made the decision, I was like, wow, he healed himself. I'm going to heal myself. And that confirmed my decision. Then Marissa Peer came into my life, right? And I became a hypnotherapist. Like, wow, I needed to understand how mind works. When I started understanding how the mind works and I started applying it in my life, and then, I was still listening to Bob Proctor, but it was a big commitment with Bob Proctor. So I was like, okay. But then I was like, you know what? I am actually going for it. And that required faith. Not just faith in, of course, that it's going to work, but faith in myself that I can do it. But faith in the universe as well, faith in the higher power that's going to support me as well. So I went in with all faith. I really took a leap of faith. And that's what it means. Leap of faith is really making that decision and going after it. Not from a place of doubt or worry, but knowing it's going to work. Why? Because why not? Ask yourself, why not? Why won't it work? If it works for others, why won't it work for you? If you're stuck in what if this does not work? What if this happens in my life? What if that happens? Why can't you put your energy into what if this works? Remember, I was just explaining you the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. If you're giving all the energy of what if this doesn't work? What if this happens? What if that happens? What if this actually works in my life? What if this really I can create this life for myself, for my family? How would that look like for you? What would that mean to you? What would that feel? Think about it. Dream big. Do not dream small. There is no tax on dreaming. But I do not want you to just do daydreaming. I also want you to act on it. And that starts with taking a decision. I'm going after this dream. But first, definitely go in your fantasy world. Definitely go and ask yourself, what do I really, really want? You know, no one knows how much time is left. No one knows that, right? But whatever time is left, what do I really want to create? What type of legacy do I want to leave behind? Ask yourself that question. What do I want to leave behind? What's the legacy I want to leave behind? And when you know what type of legacy you want to leave behind, or what I want to create while I'm here, what do I want to enjoy while I'm here, right? What do I want to experience while I'm here? Really ask yourself those questions. Really, really ask yourself. I really want you to, that's the most important thing you can do for yourself. So this weekend, take out some time, ask yourself, what do I really, really want? What? Go back to all the lessons, right? Go back to all of the days, not lessons. Go back to all of the days, right? Listen to them. Why? Because all the recordings will come down on Monday night, by the way. Monday midnight, everything comes off. So make sure you make the most of it. You go and watch this again and again. If it's inspiring, if it's motivating, you go watch these. Because when you're watching them, you understanding what's happening inside you. So really ask yourself, what do I really, really want? And go after it, guys. Go in the fantasy world. Ask yourself, take some time out. What do I really, really want? What do I want in my life? What would I love to create in my life? What would I love? What would I love? And then go after that. That's the goal. And book the call. We've only got tomorrow, by the way. Only tomorrow to book any calls if you've got. So this is your chance to book any calls. If you would love to know more about gain more clarity, if you would love to know more about how we work, book this call. This is your opportunity. I know many of you have, many of you will. Book this call because it's so important for you to, go after a worthwhile thing in life. I've really enjoyed being with you for the last 6 days. Tomorrow, guys, you cannot miss tomorrow. Tomorrow is the cherry, literally the cherry on the cake, because it's all about you. It's all about the self-image you have about yourself and how do you create a new self-image that's going to get you. So we are going to come prepared tomorrow. I'm going to do a lot of work with you. I'm going to give you more homework as well because it is so important to understand who are you, and although I've been explaining that to you, but who do you need to be? What version of you need to be? You're already that person. It's not that something else has to come. You are already that person, right? Probably that version of you is dormant in you. So it's time to awaken that, how Tony Robbins says, awaken that giant within you. That's what it is all about. Awakening that giant within yourself. That's tomorrow. Who do I need to awaken? Which part of me do I need to awaken to get where I want in my life? It's very important. Doesn't matter what your goal is. Is it money? Is it you want to, have more better relationships, whether it is health, doesn't matter which area of your life, but you want to understand which version of you do you really need to awaken tomorrow. And when you really awaken that, what does that version look like, the one that you're awakening? Because you do need to understand that. You do need to know which part of my version of I'm opening, awakening. So I love how Tony Robbins really says it, awaken the giant within, because we do have that giant within ourselves. We do have that power within ourselves. We need to learn how to tap into that power. We all have the potential, 100% potential. We need to tap into that potential. And how do we do that? That is through creating that self-image, really creating that identity that matches as if your goal was achieved. That's what it is. And that's what I want for you guys. I really, really want that. So if you've not booked the call, do book the call. But I also look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And yesterday's Zoom was so good. I know many of you attended. You got the answers. We don't record the Zoom. So if you've missed it, you've missed it. But you can book a call and ask us anything about how we work. You can ask us about how it's going to help you. Do it for yourself. You're not doing it for me. You're not doing it for anyone. That's what you're doing for yourself. Worst come to worst, what? You would have spent 45 to 60 minutes with us and maybe just walk out with more clarity. So tomorrow is the day that we have. So make sure that you do book your calls. And it's been a real pleasure, guys. It's really been so good to have you all here. I've absolutely enjoyed everything. And I'm just And I'm sure that you're now able to bring every piece together as well. Like, right? How goal is so important. How to know the gap where you are, where you're not is so important. How the mind works is so important. Can you see how it's all part of a puzzle now? I told you, like, by the end of the days, you like by the end of 7 days, you wouldn't see how it all fits into a puzzle. It's all part of a big puzzle. And these are the small pieces, the goal, of course, being the first piece of the puzzle. It's like the map. If you do not know where you've started, you're lost in life. So, right, that's the first. So you really can see, okay, the goal. Then comes how the mind works, because you really need to understand how your mind works. Big piece of your puzzle. Big piece of your puzzle is what is missing. Why are you not showing up like that? What is the knowing doing gap? Big piece again, how to use your mental faculties to get to your goal. Big piece again, self-identity, fear. So can you see how this is all part of this puzzle? And this puzzle is what? It's your goal. Like, remember when I told you that everyone has this success mechanism. We all have this success mechanism. It's jammed. It's jammed because probably you do not have enough clarity in life. It's jammed right now because you do not know where you're going. It's jammed because maybe some paradigms are stopping you. It's jammed probably it's because of fear. So all of those factors are jamming your success mechanism. But when you really start understanding and like literally untethering it, you will see, oh wow, it's going to work properly, seamlessly. I do not need to know how, but my GPS system is going to guide me there. I just don't need to be, present. I just need to know where I'm going. I need to be present with while I'm going. Enjoy the journey as well. Remember what I said. What's the beautiful definition of success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal, right? That's what it is. So every day when you are taking step towards it, you are getting towards your goal. You are really getting towards your goal. And that's what it's all about, guys. Really creating this, right? You all have this success mechanism. No one is better than other. No one is special. No one is luckier than you. We all are the same. We all have this mechanism. Just learn with what I've shared with you. You have the workbook. Go through the workbook, do the work, and understand. Just unclog this mechanism, right? And just let it flow, let it work for you. It's just going to guide you. It's like, right now maybe you're feeling that I'm going upstream on water, right? Like you're in the boat and you're going upstream. It's so much resistance, so much resistance. It feels like you're being pulled back. But when you have unjammed the system, it's like going downstream. It's all in flow. It's in ease. Why? Because imagine the best part is God, Creator, is guiding you towards it, right? It's just all going on an automatic thing. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, you're most welcome, guys. You're really, really welcome. But as I said, be here tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be another fun day of really creating the self-image of who do you really want to be? Who do you really, really want to be? So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow and lots of love. Have a great Saturday night. Remember, all recordings are coming down on Monday night. So make sure that you've booked the call, you watch the recordings, do the work. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. So lots and lots of love to you all. Take care. Bye now.